Hey, welcome back, travelers. It's Ben with Ben Tennis Dream Vacations, and in today's video, I'm going to be starting a series of videos talking about tours that you can take from around the world and even here in the US. So if you're one of those travelers who likes to have everything planned out with what you'll be seeing and doing before you get to your destination, then this is definitely the video for you. I'm going to be featuring a company that I work with called Globus, which specializes in group and private tours. And you may have even heard of their sister company, Avalon Waterways, which do river cruises in Europe and Southeast Asia. But today I'm going to be sharing with you part one in the series, which is tours that you can take right here in the US and in Canada. Some of which are very unique, and some you probably didn't even know existed or know you can even do. So put down the guidebook and join me in exploring these tours around the US and in Canada. If you're new here, checking me out for the first time, like I said, my name is Ben. I'm the owner of Ben Tennis Dream Vacations Travel Agency. And on this channel, I create weekly travel-related videos just like this one, helping you plan for your next vacation. So if you found value in these type of videos, consider subscribing. Before I get into specific tour options, I just want to set the expectation of what you can expect on these tours. So whether you want to see the cities or tucked away towns, travel just a week, or explore a little longer, there is a variety of vacation styles and lengths to suit every type of traveler, and if you like to explore off the beaten path, there are tours for that as well. You can also select from small group discovery departures that are limited to just 24 guests, with all the inclusions and none of the crowds. And in every itinerary, included are hands-on authentic experiences. You can take a historic train ride to the Rocky Mountains, or chase a New England seafood dinner with a cold Cape Cod beer in Hyannis. Every itinerary includes local experts to share stories behind the sites and local favorites you won't find in the guidebooks. There's also built-in freedom into every itinerary, so you can go and explore on your own and know that every hotel you'll be staying at has been pre-screened and personally visited, so no need to scour endless reviews. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we're going to go ahead and start with Alaska, and this particular tour is called Nature's Best. Your route on this tour of Alaska takes you by coach to see the highest peak in North America at the 6 million acre Denali National Park, by train to see the untamed wilderness en route to the unique town of Tahkeetna, and by ship to cruise through the stunning scenery of Kenai Forge National Park to hear the thunderous roar of glaciers calving into the sea. You'll also see a mushing demonstration at the home of an Iditarod musher and stop at the famous Tahkeetna Roadhouse for an Alaskan treat. A sternwater river cruise in Fairbanks, a breathtaking drive along the shore of Turnagain Arm, and a wilderness expedition to sniff out bears, caribou, and moose in Denali National Park. Everything for this tour is prepared for you, from hand-selected hotels to expert local guides, and including VIP sightseeing access to the world's iconic sites. So take a look at the itinerary for this 7-day tour. The other thing you can do is add an Alaskan cruise to this tour. So instead of starting in Fairbanks, you would actually start in Vancouver and cruise all the way up to Whittier and then get transported up to Fairbanks where you start the tour with everyone else. So if that tour wasn't long enough for you, why not try the Ultimate Alaska and Yukon tour? Where else can you see bears the size of buffalo, glaciers the size of states, and national parks the size of nations? And this great expanse of pure wilderness, the majestic mountains, never-ending landscapes, and supersized wildlife of the 49th state are waiting to transport you to another state of mind. Big sights are accented by even bigger experiences as you board the Alaska Railroad by the tallest peak in North America, the Sternwheeler Discovery, for our Fairbanks River Cruise, and a small ship to witness the dominating glaciers and playful whales of Prince William Sound. You also follow the tracks of caribou and moose in the 6 million acre Denali National Park, trace the trail of gold seekers during the Klondike Gold Rush, and follow the paw prints of Alaska's famous dog sledding huskies. This tour, instead of 7 days, will give you 13 days in Alaska. And like the other tour, you can also add an Alaska cruise to this one as well, where you'd start out of Vancouver instead of Anchorage. Now moving on to Canada, we'll explore the majestic Rockies tour. On this majestic tour of the Canadian Rockies, take a gondola ride to breakfast atop Banff's Sulphur Mountain, a private breakfast at Whistler's Squamish Little Wat Cultural Center, and a special dinner inside the original greenhouse at Victoria's Lush Butchart Gardens are just some of the ways to devour the elevating scenery on this vacation through Alberta and British Columbia. Bold and breathtaking views are served from Vancouver to Calgary as you savor the sparkling lakes of Sun Peaks. The glacial wonder of the 750-foot thick Columbia ice field, the alluring blue hue of Lake Louise, and the magnificent canyons and gorges of Jasper National Park. A panoramic cruise along the crystal waters of Moline Lake to remote Spirit Island, one of Canada's most cherished and photographed places, is everyone's favorite course on this journey through Western Canada. And if you're looking to extend your vacation, why not take a train ride back to Vancouver on Rocky Mountaineer, where you'll have panoramic oversized windows and breakfast daily and 2 lunches. And if you're into train rides, why not take a train ride across Canada on this great Canadian rail journey tour. Nestled in your first class Art Deco train car aboard VIA's Rails the Canadian, you can cruise and snooze your way through 4 picturesque provinces, although you won't want to miss a moment of the panoramic scenery outside your window. After feeling the energy of Toronto and the mist of Niagara Falls, you'll board your premier transcontinental train to chug past the sparkling lakes of Ontario, the golden prairies of Manitoba, the winding rivers of Saskatchewan, and the sun-dappled forests of Alberta. But the journey doesn't conclude at the end of the line. You'll continue by luxury motorcoats to the most beautiful national parks of the Canadian Rockies, including Jasper, Banff, Yoho, and Glacier National Park. Roast s'mores at the Riverside Barbecue, before more fun in the British-infused city of Victoria and the multicultural metropolis of Vancouver. This tour is 14 days long, but if you're really into trains, this is once in a lifetime an opportunity to travel and hit up most of the major sites throughout Canada. So moving from Canada to the Pacific West Coast of the U.S., if you ever wanted to do a Pacific drive down the West Coast, here's the tour for you. From Seattle to Portland and all the way to the Golden Gate of San Francisco, the dramatic views of both city and seaside astound on this 9-day Pacific Coast vacation. While Oregon's fabled lighthouses cast their beams to reveal the wonder of the West, this tour will shed light on what makes this corner of the country so uniquely spectacular, from its perfect Pinot Noirs to its fresh catches of the day. And if the Seattle coffee scene doesn't wake you up, a dune buggy ride along the Oregon coast, a jet boat ride across the Wild Rogue River, and a journey down Redwood National Park's Avenue of Giants certainly will. And if you ever just wanted to explore California itself, here's a great tour for you called California Classics. This 10-day tour of California reveals every heavenly sight that earned the Golden State its name. Yosemite's cathedral spires, 17-mile drives, Lone Cypress, and San Simon's Hearst Castle are just a few stars you'll catch with your camera. Between the high energy of Silicon Valley and the high style of Beverly Hills, this encompassing California vacation weaves in plenty of kickback time with visits to Napa Valley Vineyard, the quiet Danish village of Slovong, and the quaint resort zip codes of Monterey, Carmel, and Santa Barbara. This tour starts in San Francisco and it ends in Los Angeles, but you can also add San Diego as an additional stop as well. And moving just a little bit east of California, check out the enchanting Canyonlands tour, leading you on the nation's most fascinating chasms, hoodoos, and other rock formations. This Canyonlands vacation is as multi-layered as the ancient tiers of stone that formed them. Starting under the neon lights of Las Vegas, you'll make your way to the flame-colored walls of 6 national parks throughout Arizona and Utah, including Grand Canyon, Arches, Canyonlands, Capitol Reef, Bryce Canyon, and Zion National Parks. Rock on with a Lake Powell boat cruise through stunning Glen Canyon and a 4-wheel drive ride through the Navajo Nation's majestic Monument Valley. Backcountry barbecues, wine tastings, and rustic resort lodges within a stone's throw of the nation's most spectacular views only deepen your Canyonlands experience. And if you're really into national parks, why not take a tour exploring America's great parks? Wander on this ultimate bucket list vacation to 6 western states and the country's most popular parks, memorials, and monuments. Grand Canyon, Grand Teton, Yellowstone, Mount Rushmore, Arches, Bryce Canyon, Zion. Get ready to cross them all off your list as you cross through the spectacular scenery of Arizona, Utah, Colorado, South Dakota, and Wyoming on this essential national parks vacation. In between the canyons, peaks, arches, and geysers, you'll be equally wowed by waterfalls and ancient cultures, forests, and 4-wheel drive tours, and even a buffalo safari. VIP experiences go beyond the presidential sculptures of the Black Hills to a 2-night stay at the historic State Game Lodge in Custer State Park, which served as the summer White House to President Calvin Coolidge. This National Parks tour also includes visits to the capital cities of Denver and Salt Lake City, and the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. If you're into music, you should definitely check out this Music Cities tour of Nashville and Memphis. Follow the tunes through Tennessee to the music-producing meccas of Nashville and Memphis for the sights and sounds that define country, blues, and rock and roll. High notes in Nashville include RCA Studio B, a guided tour of the historic Ryman Auditorium, reserved seats at the Grand Ole Opry, and a visit to the Country Music Hall of Fame. In the home of the blues and birthplace of rock and roll, you'll tap your shoes around the Memphis Rock and Roll Soul Museum, Elvis Presley's Graceland Estate, and Sun Studios, the famous recording studio that launched the careers of Elvis, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, and countless others. And if that tour leaves you wanting more, then check out America's Musical Heritage Tour, where you will follow the influential sounds of chart-topping history from Nashville, Memphis, and New Orleans. Go through Elvis Presley's Graceland Estate and the famous studios and streets of Memphis. And go through New Orleans' French Quarter and Church of the Blues. You'll also face the music as you follow the path of the Mississippi River to the famed Delta Blues Museum, the B.B. King Museum, and Morgan Freeman's Ground Zero Blues Club. Both a musical and Southern heritage tour, this vacation to the Deep South leads you to the historic cotton plantations and the not-so-soft sounds of country, rock, and rhythm and blues. So moving to the East Coast, check out this New England and Hudson Valley tour. Boston and Concord's most significant sites of the American Revolution are balanced with the peaceful vistas of coastal Maine and mountainous New Hampshire and Vermont. Charming seaport villages, pastoral-covered bridges, and rolling maple syrup farms sweeten the storylines across America's historic East Coast. Take the ferry across Lake Champlain to immerse yourself in the scenes of New York and Massachusetts, including the lakeside resort of Lake Placid, the picturesque Berkshire Mountains, and the orchard and vineyard-dotted riverbanks of the Hudson Valley. And you'll get to end the tour at the Waterfront United States Military Academy at West Point. And I'll end with this tour here, which is a passage through New England and Eastern Canada. This enlightening tour through the great cities of New England and Eastern Canada, including a 7-night cruise, is the ultimate hands-on field trip. Explore the revolutionary city of Boston, the exhilarating White Mountains of New Hampshire, and the maple syrup farm in Vermont before the sweet experience of cruising through Eastern Canada's most scenic cities, straits, and sounds. Aboard a 5-star Holland American cruise ship, you'll sail through the greatest chapters of the past, including the lighthouse-lined St. Lawrence River, the French-infused cities of Montreal and Quebec, the green and Gaelic Cape Breton Island, and the pleasing provincial capital cities of Charlottetown and Halifax, where walkable Victorian streets await. Cruising through centuries of history, this East Coast tour perfectly balances learning and laughter with one last stop at Bar Harbor, Maine's oldest summer resort. So that was just a small sample of available tours you can find right here in the US and in Canada. Now there are plenty of variations to these tours, as well as other destinations that I didn't even cover in this video. So if you want to see the full list of available tours, check out the brochure found on my website, which I will link in the video description below. And if this video has sparked some interest and you wanted to take one of these tours, feel free to reach out to me at btennis@dreamvacations.com, and I can help you find a tour that matches the activities that you want to see and do. And be sure to check out next week's video. I'll give you part 2 in this series, where I'll be showing you available tours from around Europe. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.